yesterday. All my troubles seem so far away.
Hey guys on YouTube, I grabbed Mike 1 here. It's like almost 2 a.m. in the morning. Yeah, almost 2 a.m. in the morning. I'm just a little tired. I just got done uploading my response video for Paige Martin, so y'all been waiting for this little review that I keep telling you about. This little item I got right here through Amazon.com that cost me $320. Okay, first up, whoever is part of like pricing this box set, Apple or whoever's doing this. This box set's like almost 5 years old by now. It's 2009. That thing was released. I think it was 2009 or 2010. This thing is almost 3 years old. Drop the price down a little bit. The CD box set's been dropped, but the vinyl, whatever, I don't care, unless I got it. I'm gonna be showing you my Beatles vinyl box set. Now, this sucker is heavy as hell. Oh man, this thing right here is like 26 pounds. 26 pounds, man. So this sucker is a little bit heavy. More than a little bit heavy, really heavy. All right, so this is the black box. This is the stereo one. I particularly just picked that one because it has all 13 albums in there. So yeah. So Mike, what's in this box set? If you're not Beatles associates who wants to get a box set and has $320 to spare. If you don't have a turntable, just get the CDs, put them on iTunes. It has all 13 studio albums of the British versions, which I'll talk about, and including past masters and a 252-page booklet. That's the reason why this sucker's heavy, is because of the booklet. So let's go take a look. This is an outer sleeve. Here, ow, I hit my nose. This is a sleeve here. Let me back up a little bit. It shows what's in there, but it doesn't go out to the side. So I'm gonna place that there. This is what the box looks like. It's a really nice looking box. I love the box. The box is very good looking. Okay, so I'm gonna place this down on my little rug, because if I keep that on my lap, I'll probably lose my appendix. I'll probably burst appendix or something and break my stomach. All right, it comes in cardboard. Here, I guess I can show you what the outer box looks like first. Get off the tripod. Get off. There we go. All right. Here's what the box looks like. It's a very detailed box. It already has fingerprints on it because I always touch it. This is what it looks like. There's the book and all the albums and styrofoam, which is really nice. The foam is really nice. It keeps everything all pressured up, protected. There. All right. So let's take a look at a good detail of all these items without like looking at the fucking thing. Ooh, now the booklet is the reason why this box set's heavy. It's a hardcover book. Hardcover, very glossy, very, very glossy. Shows all 4 members of the Beatles there on the back and stuff. The book is pretty much talking about the studio albums and the tours that followed the albums. I don't really read this because I have the Rolling Stones, Beatles Rolling Stones magazine with the discography of the Beatles' work, so I don't really look at this. But still, this is the reason why people have been burning their bank accounts, is because of that book. And the good albums that come with it. So let's take a look at the albums here. Here's Please Please Me, their first album, debuted 1963. This album came out. Classic album, great album. I'm wearing my Beatles shirt too, I'm in a Beatles mood. Great album, has some great songs in here. Love Me Do, Please Please Me, Twist and Shout, I Saw Her Standing There, Misery, some good stuff's in here. Just a great album, great debut. I'm going to be comparing you the why that I purchased this box set instead of buying the American releases. I'll tell you why. The American version of Please Please Me is released as introducing the Beatles. I'll show you the artwork on it, maybe like right here, or it'll just pop up in front of the video and I'll be stopped talking. If that happens, I'm sorry guys. Like this, or not, okay. Well, it probably did happen, I'm not sure. Can't control editing software. My dad has introducing the Beatles, but I really want the British track listing, and the covers are all different on the American versions. And if you recognize that picture, that's the artwork for the album cover for the Red Album, 63 to 66. The sleeves are very nice. They have wax in them to keep them protected. And the labels are all copy images from the original albums in the UK. Because since this is not Capitol or VJ, this is EMI's Parlophone label. This is the original Parlophone label. This record plays great. I didn't have any problems with it. It plays great on my Crosley. I don't have a master turntable setup. I'm not rich, okay guys? I'm not rich. Maybe someday I'll burn that much money on it and set it up in my living room, because that's where I'll be setting it up. But then I'll play those on there. I'll let you know in a redo video or annotation. But yeah, Please Please Me, great Beatles album. Debuted, early Beatles. Then we got With the Beatles, which I actually like better than Please Please Me. I love this album more. Has a great track list again. It Won't Be Long is a really good song. All I've Got to Do, Don't Bother Me, Roll Over Beethoven, great cover from Chuck Berry's song. I really like the covers, most of the covers in early classic Beatles. And I Want to Be Your Man, which is a great song. The Rolling Stones did a cover of I Want to Be Your Man, and it wasn't as good. I like the Beatles one better. But yeah. In the US, this was technically the first Beatles album that was released in the US. It was released under Meet the Beatles in the Capitol label. There's the artwork I'm going to show you. It has the same artwork as this, so except I think it was colored a little bit better than this. This is just all black and white. The label changed on this one. Since this is, I think this is the same year as Please Please Me. It's on a different Parlophone label. There. I'm not going to show you all the records. I'm just going to show you how the labels are different and stuff like that. All the changes on the labels. If they're all the same, I'll just stick out the sleeves and show you the amp through the circle. But yeah, With the Beatles, great album, or whatever version you get. Also, some material from this is in the Beatles' second album and the Beatles' in the various American releases. It's a mess. I think the American releases are all just a big giant mess in the early Beatles era, in my opinion. I understand that there's people that are fans of the American albums. I'm fine with that. I'm American. I'm fine with that. But I prefer the British versions. It's just me. I like to have all the track list intact. That's the way I like it. Hard Day's Night, soundtrack from the film. I haven't seen the movie to this yet. I need to check it out. But great album, great soundtrack. It is a really good soundtrack. My copy on the middle part looks like it had some scratches on it or something. I don't know. It has a little bit of a ring wear, but it's not visible. But yeah, title track's great. Can't Buy Me Love. Some good stuff in here. Great Beatles album. This is a fan favorite. It's not my favorite Beatles album, but it's near there. It's on the same Parlophone label as Meet the Beatles. Great album though. Great album. This is Paige Martin's favorite. I know that for sure. But yeah, Hard Day's Night, great album. The American release is different. It has the same name, but it's released under United Artists because the film was owned by United Artists, and it had a red-ish cover. Like I said, I'm showing you the artworks, comparing them to these awesome British ones, which I prefer. Next studio album, Beatles for Sale. This might be my least favorite early Beatles album in 63 to 65. This is my least favorite Beatles album. Just, it's okay, but it's not my favorite. Like, I'm just not a fan of this album. It has some good cuts on it. Rock and Roll Music, another Chuck Berry cover. No Reply, 8 Days a Week is good too. And this is the first one with the gatefold. And Sam Powerphone label. EMI. Love me some EMI. Capitol, EMI, Harvest. Oh man, EMI. Who doesn't love EMI? Oh yeah. In the US, this was released under a lot of Beatles albums. Beatles 65. Beatles 6. Something New. And I'm not getting into that. It's a fucking mess, in my opinion. I'm a hardcore Beatles fan, so I'm ranting over the American releases. I'm sorry. And these aren't mono, because, I mean, like, I love mono. It's okay. I've run all 13 studio albums. I'm not buying the mono set. My favorite early Beatles album, though, is Help. Of their teenage pop years, this is my favorite album by them. The title track, Yesterday, Ticket to Ride, Another Girl. Very, very good album. Another movie soundtrack. I haven't seen the movie to this either, but I heard some good things about it. I really want to watch the other two movies. I've seen a couple of them. Sam Powerphone label. This was released in the U.S. Has a different artwork and a way different track listing. It cut out a lot of songs and put them in Rubber Soul. We'll get to that in a minute, but it's a great album. After that era, after Help, they went to the experimental side because they were getting really sick of touring and the racist remark about John Lennon saying the Beatles are better than Jesus, which... John Lennon's my hero. He's been my hero since I got into music, and when I became a fan of the Beatles and his solo career. I'm not a fan of that remark when he said that, and I'm not a fan of Yoko Ono. The only thing that she did good for him was the solo career. Rubber Soul, their first experimental record, one of my favorite albums of all time. Love this album. Just a classic experimental folk type of album. It's great. Norwegian Wood, Drive My Car, You Won't See Me Nowhere Man, Michelle, Looking Through You, In My Life, If I Needed Someone. Some great songs. This is an amazing album. It's in my top 5, I think. Powerphone label. But yeah, great record though. This is the first Beatles album, not counting Hard Day's Night or Help, that has the same cover and the same name, with the same name and the same artwork cover. But the track listing's been tweaked. They added some songs from the Help soundtrack and took out some songs from the British soundtrack, so from the British album. So yeah, obviously I prefer the British ones, the true way to listen to these. But great album though, fantastic, fantastic. Mono, stereo, I heard both. They both sound great. Just I'd rather want the stereo box set. I have my hearing and I have stereo. I have the need for it. Then in '66, one of my favorite albums of all time, Revolver, their first psychedelic rock record, and damn, it's good. This kickstarted the psychedelic movement in England and the UK, thanks to the Beatles and other bands like Pink Floyd. Yeah, Pink Floyd, man. Pink Floyd. Yeah, great album though. Taxman, Eleanor Rigby, Yellow Submarine. A lot of Beatles fans don't know about this because Sgt. Pepper was the more famous record, and if where did Yellow Submarine come from? The Yellow Submarine soundtrack. No, it came from Revolver first. Oh man, it's fun talking about that. I love Yellow Submarine. I'm one of the fans that loves it. I love that song too much. It's great. I heard it so many times. Good Day Sunshine, Tomorrow Never Knows, and Get to Your Life. Here, There, and Everywhere. Some great psychedelic rock songs in there. Centaur pieces. Again, on that Parlophone label. Just a fantastic record. This is an amazing album. This was also released in the US with the same artwork, same name. I think the track listing is different. I never heard the American version of it, but it is a fantastic album. Pick it up. It's one of the best psychedelic rock records in history. And then we get to the Beatles' masterpiece, Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band. Oh yeah, and the covers on Rubber Soul and Revolver, I forgot to mention that. The covers, the album covers where the artwork goes on, they're stickers. Too cheap. Capital's too cheap. Okay, now back to Sgt. Pepper. This album is amazing, man. One of my favorites of all time. I love this album. Has the gatefold, which is great. Without this gatefold, it won't be Sgt. Pepper. A lot of people parodied Sgt. Pepper. There was a movie called Sgt. Pepper Lonely Hearts Club Band, but it wasn't made by the Beatles. It was made by the Bee Gees. And it had Aerosmith and Alice Cooper in it. Frank Zappa made fun of this album cover. Look it up. Look up Frank Zappa and Sgt. Pepper, and you'll see his funny way of making fun of that. But yeah, you can see there's a lot of people in that picture. I know like 2 or 3 of them, like Bob Dylan's in there, Marlon Brando. The original incarnation of the Beatles. This is the only ones that stand out to me. Let's show you the record here. Album's on the Parlophone label. Nothing special. But there are some goodies in this one. The goodies are, here's a little insert sheet signed by Paul McCartney himself, which is really cool. And I think also Ringo Starr. Nah, I don't think so. It shows the songs, and on the back of this, it shows like the whole list of people in that picture and things, all 87 things. Ridiculous. And the original cutouts, I'm never cutting that. And since if an album was released in a special sleeve, a couple of these Beatles albums were, the original inner sleeve, this will never be used. This will just be a monumental piece, be sticking out on my record when I play it on my display. I just love Sgt. Pepper's a great album. This was the first Beatles album, and that was released in the US with the track listing intact. If they ever mess with the track listing of this, it wouldn't make any sense, because it's a concept album. One of the very first concept albums. It wasn't prog rock, it was psychedelic, but it was awesome. So yeah, the whole track listing intact for the American release. But yeah, it's a great album though. I love Sgt. Pepper. This album is a really great album. The American version cover has like a white border around it, and then it was a gatefold, I think. Yeah, it was a gatefold, but it didn't have an extra compartment for all the goodies in there. But yeah, Sgt. Pepper. That's the great album. Oh, favorite songs off Sgt. Pepper. I never really listed my favorite songs. The title track and A Little Help from My Friends, Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds, Good Morning, Day in Life. Oh, sadly, with this copy, and my turntable is not the best. Day in Life can't get cut off for 5 seconds if it's a low power turntable, because I've seen someone on YouTube trying to review his box set. He said he has been having some issues with Sgt. Pepper. It was the Day in Life, the part where the voices are like reversed, like what the Beatles did at the time. It'll get cut off at like 1 second. So if you got a high quality turntable, you're fine. But I got a Crosley, and that issue will never be skipped. But I don't care. The record plays great. My box set is good. It's flawless. Mine is flawless. Another movie soundtrack. Beatles are like the cash cows for movies. Well, I wonder if we rarely see Pink Floyd movies. Well, The Wall and Pompeii and War and La Ballet. Well, that's about it. Magical Mystery Tour. My favorite Beatles movies. I liked Yellow Submarine better than this movie. But in the U.S., there were some rejected songs from Sgt. Pepper. They decided to put them with the EP, and it became a studio album. So this is going to be a bit different. Here's the gatefold. Love this. Love this album too, man. I mean, like, it's the first time playing it, I loved it. Same for a lot of these. I love the albums. Magical Mystery Tour is a good song. I'm a Walrus. The song where Paul McCartney's singing, I can't remember the name of it. I think it was Blue Jay Way or Fool on the Hill. I can't remember the name of the song, but it was good. It goes round and round and round and round. I can't remember the name of the song. If I remember it, I'll if I play through the album again, I'll list the name of the song. I'll put an annotation in the video. Hello, Goodbye, Strawberry Fields Forever, Penny Lane, All He Needs Loves. Great songs. Now for the record, since this was the American release, it's on the American version of EMI Capitol on the Rainbow label, which is really awesome. I really love Capitol Rainbow labels. Very cool stuff. I need to get some Beach Boys albums in that label, definitely. Like Pet Sounds. I love early Beach. I love that era of Beach Boys, the psychedelic stuff. In the American release, they're going to go like, "Where's the booklet?" Well, that is a smarter idea than stapling it. It's a separate thing right there. Booklet's intact. Has some funny artwork in it. Yeah, that's the booklet of Magical Mystery Tour. Good album, good soundtrack, very good soundtrack. Movie's mediocre, but the soundtrack's better than the movie. It sold better than the movie too, which was funny. 1968, my second favorite Beatles album. If you've seen my top 10 albums from the 60s and my favorite decade music video, this was #1, along with Abbey Road. The White Album. Really good album. Damn good album. The one thing I don't like about this, where's my number? There's no number. On the stereo release. On the mono there's a number. I've seen that. But yeah, just a great album. Playing through this one again on vinyl. Fantastic. Sounds good. Back in the USSR, Dear Prudence, My Guitar Gently Weeps, Happiness is a Warm Gun, Rocky Raccoon, Julia, Your Blues, Birthday, Helter Skelter, Good Night. Some good stuff. Revolution, I'm not saying much about Revolution 9. I do not like that song. The label's different. This one's on Apple this time, on the Apple label there. The most famous Beatles label, other than EMI and Parlophone and Capitol. It's fucking Apple. Which, I love Apple. Apple's one of my favorite labels. Alright. Second LP. There's no hole in the back for some odd reason. It's on black inner sleeves, which is really nice. Sadly, I wish it was in white vinyl, but it's not. My dad has the purple Capitol label with the white vinyl. Now, the goodies that came with it, the poster. This is going to take up the whole screen, and this is only... See that? That is huge. I can't even fit this dang thing in my camera. It's the original poster, less glossy, with the track listing in the back. Never going to hand this up. And the pictures, missing one of them. Oh, there it is. There's Ringo. I don't know if it showed these in the previous video, but here we go again. George Harrison, Paul McCartney, my hero John Lennon. John Lennon makes my favorite solo stuff of the Beatles. I also really like George Harrison's stuff is good. I love All Things Must Pass, classic album, and his stuff with Traveling Wilburys is good, but I don't like his other solo albums other than All Things Must Pass, produced by Phil Spector, which he's still I don't care if he produced a Ramones record. I don't care if he produced with Lennon or Harrison. He's an asshole. I do not like Phil Spector for reasons. Never liked him. He's a maniac. If I ever had him as my producer, I'll get him shot. I don't mean to say that, Phil. It's just you're an asshole, and you know why. Paul McCartney's solo stuff with the Wings is really good. I love his stuff with Wings. But John Lennon's is my favorite. Plastic Ono Band, man. Imagine, Double Fantasy, and stuff like that. Rock and roll. I'm going to pick up some more vinyl tomorrow, so I'm getting some John Lennon vinyl. You'll be seeing some more of that. Oh, Oh, what's my feelings about Ringo's stuff? Yeah, I can pass Ringo's solo career. It's not very good. I think he was just there for the right time with the Beatles. He's a good drummer, but he's not great. The Yellow Submarine soundtrack, why? But I still liked it. But I like the movie, love the movie. Soundtrack's decent, but this was released in '69. I think this was supposed to be released in '68. Oops. The first side of the album is all Beatles songs, except there's 2 exclusive songs. It's All Too Much and only a Northern song, but Yellow Submarine, Hey Bulldog, and All You Need Is Love was already released in previous albums. But I don't remember what Hey Bulldog was released on. Here, let's take a look at the... I think Hey Bulldog was a single. Never mind, I think it was a single. I can't really remember. And because I'm tired. The second side's all George Martin orchestrated work, which isn't bad, but it's not great. I love Yellow Submarine and Pepperland. That is a great orchestra piece for the movie. I love this movie. This is one of my favorite movies of all time. It's hilariously trippy and shit. Again, Apple and like Pepper, the original inner sleeve, which is really cool. I love the artwork. I love the movie. The movie has great animation for its time. It's one of those movies in the '60s. It's a cult classic. It has some really funny imagery and stuff like that. I love the lines in the earlier part of the movie with Ringo goes like, "George, that's my car." "What car? What's your color of your car?" "Red." "Oh, it's blue." Hilarious. Poor Ringo, he always gets picked on. It's hilarious. I think it's funny. They always pick on the drummer. 1969, my favorite album. My favorite album of all time, right up there with Nirvana's Bleach and the Ramones. Abbey Road by the Beatles. Love Abbey Road. Again, this and the White Album are my favorite albums of the '60s. This is for good reasons. I grew up with this album, and this was my first Beatles album. I loved it. Come Together, Something. Maxwell Silverhammer's pretty good. Octopus's Garden. Bleh, 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 bleh. I Want You, so She's So Heavy. I love that song. That song's awesome. Here Comes the Sun, Sun King, The End. Some good stuff in here. Some great material. Love this album. Apple label. Nothing special, just an Apple label there. But yeah, just like normal American releases and stuff like that. Same with Yellow Submarine and the White Album, so nothing special. But I love this album, and it's definitely one of my favorite albums of all time. I have this hanging on my wall in my living room. If you see my music room tour, it's hanging in my living room because I'm a fan. I'm too much of a hardcore Beatles fan. You gotta have this on your wall. Because every time when I see this cover, I think Beatles all the time, and I always listen to this record on my iPod, vinyl, whatever I have to play it on, I'll play it. Come Together is my favorite Beatles song, too. I always love that. I first heard that on the radio. I told you the story already. And 1970, Let It Be. Actually, this was recorded before Abbey Road, but they were having problems recording this because they weren't getting along because of Yoko Ono and stuff like that. Saying, "John, you don't need the Beatles anymore." So they recorded and released Abbey Road after when they did their rooftop show, which is great, by the way. And finished up Let It Be, and before this album was released in '70, and I think after when the documentary aired and came out, Paul McCartney left the Beatles. And then soon after when this was released, a couple of weeks after, John left, and then the Beatles were dead. But Let It Be, this is a good album too. I I really need to play this one again because I cannot remember. I played the album once, like 2013. I love the album, but I really need to play it again. I love the title track, Dig a Pony, Two of Us, Cross Universe and stuff like that are great. Just a great way to end the Beatles. A great way to end their discography is with this. It's a great album, man. This is the this and the other record that came with it is the only albums I have not tested in the set yet. But there is my Apple label. It's on the white sleeve this time, which is kind of sticks out, but I don't care. One thing that's weird, they could have done the American version because the American version, there's multiple versions of Let It Be. There's the Phil Spector version. There is the red Apple label version with the gatefold. I don't know why they just didn't choose to do the gatefold with the poster, so they just did the British release, which is fine. I don't mind it. It's just I don't really care, to be honest. If I can find a copy with the gatefold, I'll pick it up anyways, and I'll just take the poster, get rid of the record. I really don't want to have a copy of Let It Be. And then the last thing that is in here is the Past Masters. This was like a 2-volume compilation set put into one little set. That's a double album. Pretty cool stuff in here. I mean, like, it has singles and stuff that wasn't released in any of those records. It has stuff like I Want to Hold Your Hand, She Loves You, From Me to You, the original version of Love Me Do, and Long Tall Sally, I Feel Fine, Bad Boy, Day Tripper, Paperback Writer, Rain's one of my favorites. Hey Jude, Revolution, Get Back, Don't Let Me Down, The Ballad of John and Yoko, Old Brown Shoe, Cross Universe, Let It Be, You Know My Name, Look Up the Number. Some good stuff in here. But yeah, it's a gatefold. The first LP is on Parlophone because it's early material. I haven't tested this record yet either, so yeah, annotations. I will say right here that Let It Be sounds great or not so good, and here I'll say if Past Masters sounds pretty good or not. So you have to wait until I edit this and upload it tomorrow. And then the later stuff's on Apple, so it makes sense. Really, I like the way they laid it out. Which is great. I'm going to get up early tomorrow morning and start editing this. And here's the insert that came with this. But yeah, that's it. Is it worth 320 bucks? Maybe. If you're a hardcore Beatles fan, yes, it is worth it. If you're a casual fan and if you want to get into the Beatles, it's not worth it. You can just wait and save your money up for it like I did. Well, I had 200 bucks. I had my mom pay for the other half. I'll pay her back when I get back to work. I really need the money. Anyways, I've been on work for a long time. I've been injured. But yeah, I mean, like, I've been a Beatles fan for a long time, and I really wanted all the albums. Really want all the British releases, like the original Revolver and stuff like that. I really want all of those, and plus they're great track listings intact, and I love that. I love that type of stuff, man. Yeah. There is other releases. I'll get to those when I put these back. Just give me 1 minute. I'm almost done. There is other releases. besides this box set, there is the, if you're not a fan of stereo, if you love mono, you can get the white box, which is right here, or ignoring me, going over my video. It wasn't a bad, I mean, like, I like listening to the mono, but I have both my hearing. I mean, like, there's some mixing in there that sounds really good with Beatles, but I am not getting the mono box set. I'm not getting it. This is also released on CD. It's cheaper to get the CDs. I don't have the CDs. I'll get them later on in the future, and I'll show you them, and I'll compare it to the vinyl. And there's also the mono CD set as well. And then later in 2014, January 21st, they released the American box set. If you don't like the British versions, well, you can get the American box set, which has all the American versions of the Meet the Beatles and on. What they don't have Introducing the Beatles with it, because Introducing the Beatles is released on VJ, not on Capitol. So if you're interested, you can check those out too. But I'm gonna stick with this piece right there, because I'm fine with it. I don't really need mono. I don't need the American versions. I have all my Beatles right here, all fine, and my copy of Hey Jude. This is the only American album I like, and I'm never gonna really play this because I got Past Masters now. I'm still keeping this because it's one of my rarest finds. I'm gonna be collecting John Lennon albums now. I'm gonna be collecting all this stuff on vinyl, and I'll try to track down some Paul McCartney stuff and George Harrison.
Let me take you down